And now, What Grinds Our Gears presents our favorite running gag of Drunk DC. Tonight's skit involves Doom Patrol. So, DC, I see you're finally making some big moves. Got that first billion from Aquaman. That's nice. That's nice right there.
Yep. Yeah. We thought it was gonna tank. After the whole Batman versus Superman thing, and then the Justice League, and we really thought Aquaman was gonna tank. But we're celebrating. Woo!
Seems like you're always celebrating right there.
Yeah, Aquaman killed it for us. I don't exactly know why.
Okay, well, I guess it's my turn on the darts. So, you're shooting this thing called the Doom Patrol. What the hell is this shit?
Yeah, honestly, I've never even heard of them. I heard of the Titans. I hear that show's doing great. I'm not in charge of that section, but I heard the show's great.
But don't you own Titans, though?
I do, but
he's so plastic.
I let this his name is Jake. He was sitting next to me in khakis. Said he could handle any situation. Lives in a place called State Farm. And he's like, yeah, I'll handle it, man. I was like, great, man. I'll fucking buy you a shot if you could just make me some fucking money for once. And then he took the whole Titans thing and apparently, took Deadpool's advice and took it really dark. And it's worked so far. I can't fucking complain. I have some change in my pocket.
Well, all right then. Well, you're going to be shooting for Doom Patrol. I'm shooting for Season 2 of Cloak and Dagger.
What's Cloak and Dagger?
It's about a black kid and a white kid fighting crime together.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Yeah, we had that. Yeah, wait. Yeah, I remember. I totally remember. Anyways, so yeah, Doom Patrol. We're really excited for this one. We basically took half the handful of darts we had and threw it at the fucking wall. I don't know who Robot Man is personally, but we got Brendan Fraser to play him. Yeah, I brought it out of retirement just for this show.
Okay, well, we'll definitely see how all that goes right there for you.
Well, technically, you won't see Brendan Fraser because he's Robot Man, and he's not technically Brendan Fraser. I mean, in flashbacks, you might see him, but not like in any combat situations.
You're super plastered right now, aren't you, DC?
A little bit. I can't feel my tongue.
This has been Drunk DC and Marvel, and now it's time for the intro.
Growing up and growing old, don't you feel the time moving forward every morning when we rise? If only we could make it right before the sun says goodnight.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to What Grinds Our Gears, the podcast owned by, ran by, and done with things by family members all across the globe. Where right now we're going to be having a two-person day because everybody is doing some stuff of hanging out with their spouses, or in the case of Britt right now is streaming a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3, or if you guys don't know already, go to twitch.tv/Brittopia. And if you guys also do so, go to twitch.tv/Selfino1 for Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays to stream stuff with Hubs and the wife, of course. But enough self-promotion for us. You guys already know me. It's V. I'm contractually obligated to be here because somebody's got to run the camera, even though no one sees footage. And on the left side of me at this big ass round table, we had like a huge writers meeting last week. That's why we didn't film at all. There's pizza all over the place. Some of it got all over Sally's sex toy collection. We're not stressed about it.
How much did this big ass round table cost, V?
I don't know.
It's like the bulk of our budget is in this table, right?
No, we kind of just inherited it when we got the office, but that's another story for another time. But you guys know this man. He's the man, the myth, the legend. He has 1 million titles already, but he only settles for 3 avatars: Deadpool, Andy Dufresne, and Wolverine every single day to make sure that his power is only kept at 1%. He doesn't need to pull that Shaggy bullshit.
Yeah, what is up with the Shaggy bullshit?
I don't even know.
How did this start? It just like appeared.
I think it's from that movie where he gets hypnotized and he's able to beat up biker gangs, and that's how the meme started. Cause
I saw this meme. It was him and One Punch Man.
Fucking Saitama versus a stoner.
And they're both like in the dirt, right? And Shaggy's like, I know you haven't even used 10% of your power, Saitama. And Shaggy's like, I know that because I haven't even used 1% of mine. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, why? What the hell? And then all the memes of Matthew Lillard.
Like, Zoinks! For all you mortals, I'm only going to be using 0.2% of my power.
I don't know where it came from. I love it and hate it at the same time.
I kind of love it more than hate it, because it's like Shaggy is validated for once.
Yeah, he's actually a true badass. He's not like... The whole reason Scooby-Doo exists is because Shaggy. Which is technically true, because Scooby is Shaggy's dog.
True. But yeah, you got an episode of me and Hubs again, everybody. So you know what this means? A lot of wacky hijinks, and this is also the end of our month of love marathon.
So we're gonna start by talking about shit we hate.
So instead of talking about relationship shit anymore, because I am done. I am fucking done. This month is awful. This month is terrible. If you guys heard me last week about my own opinion about Black History Month in general, you already know I hate this fucking month. So why don't we instead go into some different realms of stuff that we normally talk about, which is bad cinema with bad relationship chemistry. Or just bad TV with bad relationship chemistry.
Or how do I say this? A good movie that ends badly.
Well, that too, but I only have a movie that starts off badly that ends horribly.
But in the premise, this premise sounds decent, right? Because I haven't seen... Okay, I'm just going to start. Me and my wife watched Swiss Army Man. And yeah, it took a second for us to kind of jump on board, because a lot of the stuff in it is pretty fucking...
weird.
Immature. You know, this is shit you think up when you're like 14, 15 years old. Like, what if this could happen? You know? And once you get back into that mentality of being young and kind of stupid. I don't want to say stupid or dumb, because whatever. I grew up with Weekend at Bernie's, you know.
But I mean, we were all young and stupid at some point. We can admit it.
Right. So the movie was actually really good, and it was kind of like a psychological evaluation of somebody who's stranded on an island for way too long, right? Mm-hmm. And they finally somehow make it back to shore through the help of this dead guy who you're not quite sure if he's really dead or not, because it's basically like Castaway, but instead of having Wilson, the volleyball, he has a dead corpse. Which is the, you know, morbid, kind of campy, immature part about it, right? All these things you could do with a dead body. But it was a really good movie, right up until the end. And then they fucking goonied it. They goonied it up. And let me explain this. In the Goonies, when the movie ends, nobody believes the kids that they found this pirate's treasure and and the boat that it was on.
Right.
So when they're all on the beach at the very end, and they're telling their parents what's happened, and their parents are like, yeah, sure, okay, just calm down. I'm glad you're alive. Ha, 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 stupid, whatever. Don't ever do this again. The boat goes sailing off in the distance, and you can see it. And it's like the validation point for those kids saying, see, I fucking told you. I wasn't lying. You should believe me when I fucking talk. You know? And all the parents are like, holy shit, it's real. Well, something similar happened in this movie, but not to the same effect. It did not have the same emotional value or validation. It was more like, look, this corpse can fart and float on water. And that's about it. That's literally it. That is the validation that happened. It does not cover any of the other psychological trauma or mental trauma that this man went through in this entire time. That's where it ends. Is Daniel Radcliffe riding off on the sunset, farting out his ass on a wave.
Such a high point in his career after he went from wizard to a demon to now a farting corpse.
And I'm not even worried about giving away spoilers because the movie had come out years ago now.
True.
It's 2-3 years old now.
But at least your movie started off with promise. The movie I recently watched for a review I'm going to be doing is called The Lobster.
So before you get into it, the premise of this movie is you either mate or find a mate, find someone to be with. If you can't, you get turned into an animal.
Oh, it's a little bit more intricate than that I found out.
Well, I'm simplifying it because I haven't seen it. I'm basically
No. The movie states in the first couple minutes, you have a month to find someone to be married to by law, where if you are single, you will be turned into an animal of your choice.
Yes, okay. So,
and
I'm intrigued by that, and Jenny is as well.
Like the commercial for it, you'd think, oh, this is going to be a hilarious slapstick comedy because of how they did all the promotional trailers for it, including this one maid just grinding on this guy that can't masturbate or bust a nut. No, it was by far one of the saddest fucking movies I've seen thus far for a review.
Really?
I've done so many fucking films like Old Boy, the Korean version, not the American one. I could stomach that to watch it 3 times. The Lobster, I couldn't even stomach to finish watching it in the first sit down because of how mean-spirited and cruel it was.
So Father of the Year to you, huh?
Kind of, yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Father of the Year is a Robin Williams film, correct? And people usually go into Robin Williams films thinking, well, okay, Robin Williams films are a little bit like Sybil. As Sybil is somebody with multiple personalities. You can either go in thinking this is going to be fucking hilarious, or you can go in thinking this is going to make me cry.
That's how the great Robin Williams was. May he rest in peace.
Apparently this one was a big miss for him because all the promotions showed it being like a drama comedy.
Yeah.
A dramedy.
Dramedy, yeah.
Turned out to be more about my wife just said mental health, and it was quite depressing, was it not? Yeah. Like it was out of character for a Robin Williams film. It
wasn't out of character for him though.
It was not a character for him. We're not. Robin Williams is a genius, no matter how you cut it. But that film just Jenny watched. I didn't see it. Jenny watched it, and she said it just kind of.
I didn't watch all of
it. She couldn't finish it.
But when I finally finished The Lobster, like it got to the point where it's like, okay, the main character finds a mate. It's gonna be great. Because he spent the whole movie just with his brother as a dog in this hotel room with him just getting his junk grind on by the maid because he can't masturbate with his hand or bust a nut. So he has to get grinded on awkwardly with like suspenseful music like dun 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 dun. It's like, how is this sexy right now?
It sounds funny though.
Like, it would be funny if the music wasn't so unsettling with that notion.
But maybe that was the point.
And then it goes into scenes of just like Colin I keep fucking
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell like kicking a child's leg in front of the dad, being like, "See, now you have a limp like your old man." It's like, what?
That shit's funny, okay? If you haven't seen In Bruges, you wouldn't understand.
I've seen In Bruges, but that was just like, this is just a newly raised like 5-year-old that you're just abusing for like no fucking reason, and then it goes in the whole thing of like, oh yeah, I killed your dog brother. This
okay. Now I'm gonna have to watch it, and then me and you are gonna have to do like a recap on it, because once I saw Colin Farrell was in it, after seeing like Colin Farrell does those dark comedy movies where he does shit to people that you just don't do to people, and somehow it's funny.
Yeah, there's
like in Bruges, he fucking does he kick or does he punt or does he fucking punch a little person?
Like that I found funny.
Yeah,
like that I found funny, but for this role it was like he's this sad, very depressed person. So I'm just like, I'm sad and depressed all the time, but I don't punch children.
Because he's one of the auditors, right? He's one of the people that turns people into animals.
No, he's a guy that got left by his spouse, and he has a month to find a new one.
Oh, okay. See, I'm going to have to watch it, and I'll have to come and recap it with you. Far.
And then with the ending, I'm not going to give away how it ends because I want Hubs to watch it, but when I was watching the ending, I was like, are they implying what I think they're implying? Because if so, this is so fucked up.
Oh, man. That leads me back to The Mist. Now, not the movie. We all know how the movie ended.
Yeah.
It was fucking horrible. It ruined the entire movie. I haven't watched it again because of that ending, and I love that movie. I want to talk about the TV series. Have you seen any of it?
I don't have TV anymore.
It's it's on Netflix, but not obviously it wouldn't be current up to the current season. I haven't watched any of it. I'm afraid to, because I know how the movie ended. But I know that the movie ends differently than the book, and I'm wondering if you think they're taking it towards the direction of the book.
That I don't know, because when I was trying to do some more research into Stephen King stuff, which is a bad idea when you're trying to be hopeful, because then you end up with stories like Something Pupil, where it's like this high school student and this
apt pupil.
Yeah, apt pupil, where you have this
the Nazi and the high school student.
Yeah, like you end up with a search like that. Like that's something you're not supposed to be going into. Just like, I'm having a happy day. Let me do some Stephen King research. Oh my god!
The Dead Zone is depressing enough. Okay, just that one alone.
yeah, but from what I can just kind of gather, it's trying to be more like a mixture of the movie and the book in certain elements, but I'm not sure, because I can't trust when people do King adaptations as much. Because Gerald's Game disappointed me a lot.
Are they still trying to do the whole... Because it certainly seems definitely so now that Pet Sematary is coming out again.
Oh, hell yes, they're still doing the whole...
Are they doing the whole...
They're doing the cinematic universe. They're doing...
Excuse me.
They're doing the main universe instead of like the whole intertwining web of stuff that King's made of. This is one universe where it's like we have
Do you think, then, that the possibility of Shawshank Redemption being remade is... Because I don't want that one to be remade.
It's highly possible they'll remake it because people are like, ew, these people seem like they're old.
I know, but I really don't, because it was perfect in its original form.
So was the original Pet Sematary, but look what we got now.
Well, so was the original Dead... Well, no, actually, I think Anthony Michael Hall did a pretty good job in the series. I have to say that much.
The only one I want a remake of right now is Salem's Lot, and I want a redone version of Gerald's Game, because they fucked that movie up so much.
Really? Alright. Well, okay, so they're still doing the whole cinematic universe for Stephen King.
Yep.
That's a plus. Maybe one day I'll get to see if Andy Dufresne is actually more than what they make him out to be in The Shawshank Redemption.
He
I don't
could
think
be an
it's
avatar
even-
for someone from the.
Well, it seems like don't they have, like, in the Dark Tower, don't they have, what are they called? Not Watchers or something, but like the ones that they're kind of omnipotent.
Yeah, they have seers.
It almost seems like that's what Andy Dufresne is.
I could see that.
Like, he's an outcast seer, though. Like, he decided to walk into one universe and see what would happen, and that's what happened, and now he's like, nope, I don't like this, so I'm escaping. Anyways, currently, what I'm watching right now that I am not disappointed by, I'm actually pleasantly surprised by, is called The Umbrella Academy on Netflix. I did not know anything about this. It's a Dark Horse comic. It's not even a complete comic. Apparently, there's only 3 storylines right now. There is the Apocalypse Suite, Dallas, and Oblivion.
So it's like
So
it's still ongoing?
Yes, it's still ongoing. It was created in 2007, and then they did the original story, which was Apocalypse Suite. That was the main storyline. And then they picked up in 2018 or 2017 again and did a storyline called Dallas, and now Oblivion is the newest one, which is concurrent, which is running right now.
So is the TV show going with the first storyline?
Yes.
Okay.
But you are totally confused and fucked up. You have no idea. They're starting from scratch. If you know nothing about the comic book, don't read it. Don't look it up. Don't nothing. Just watch the show and enjoy. If you do know the comic book, watch the show and enjoy.
Okay.
So basically what I'm saying is don't spoil it for yourself, because there are some differences, but they're so minute that it does not affect the story.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the build-up, like, we aren't done yet. We're on episode 9, and there's 10 episodes.
10 hours, baby.
We're on episode 9, and it is built up nicely. The only thing that's going to infuriate you is the secrecy. There's so much secrecy in this show, whether it's from the father or whether it's between the siblings or whether it's between... Anyways, so the basic premise is there's a specific date in 1989 where on that date, like 43 women gave birth to children.
When they weren't pregnant when the day started.
Exactly, but they weren't pregnant when the day started. And it was... in the comic books, they explain it all. I'm not going to go through how the comics explain it. This is how the show explains it. There were 43... I think it's 43.
43. Yeah, it was 43 women gave birth, and only he bought 7 from them. Because that was all that he could get. He tried to get all 43 children. Is this eccentric billionaire tried to get all 43 children, only got 7. Ends up with 7 kids. They all have unique special abilities, except for one that you're led to believe. So, and that's where the show starts. That's completely different from the comics. The way the comics, kind of lead into it. In the comic books, I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's a little different. It has to do with celestial beings and this and that. Oh, God, no.
Yes. So...
Fables flashbacks all over again to Big B's dad issues.
So, do yourself a favor, watch it, it's good, but don't ruin it by trying to read ahead. Because it's not going to make sense. It'll make sense, but it won't make sense, because there's little bits and pieces of the story that have been changed. Which is good. You can't, if it was just like the comic, you'd know what to expect, and you'd be like, oh, yep, this is going to happen. And the way they changed it...
end up like all the butthurt Marvel fans. Who said that?
Yeah, and the changes that they made, like I said, I think they did it for drama, but also for character building and story building to make more sense. Because in comics, sometimes the storylines don't necessarily make sense, because they don't have to. It's a comic book. You're talking about superheroes who can do things that nobody else can fucking do. It's not humanly possible. So sometimes the storylines in comic books don't make sense at all, Like, you know, the whole Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver hooking up, even though they're fucking siblings.
Who are not related by blood. I mean...
Depends on which universe, V.
Oh, true.
Depends on which universe. They hooked up in all of them, so that's a little weird.
Ew.
They didn't need to, but they did. Yeah. So there's that. Marvel did that. That was Marvel.
Yeah. As for myself, I've been trying to marathon a couple of shows here or there. Where the first thing I just finished marathoning recently was the show Travelers. If you guys don't know it, it was like this very interesting time travel show where it was these 4 individuals trying to come back as a team on this mission to help save the world from humanity itself, which they try to go a different route about it, saying that not everything about the future would be the same as if they left it, which means they'd still have to correct mistakes that are still brought about because of what the people do in the present to make the future how it is. Which is always a constant battle that people try to do in time travel stories that I found interesting, but I'm going to save that for when we do the time travel podcast when Jazz comes back.
But there's also another interesting aspect about that show.
Yeah, the human aspects about it where they, instead of being just people coming back from the past, they're brought back as data to then be put into people's bodies in that time frame.
So they're not actually themselves. They're possessing somebody else's body.
But they are people that are scheduled to die during that exact day. Like one is a mentally disabled woman that was working in a library. One of them was a domestic abuse victim that was about to be killed by her baby daddy. One of them is a drug addict.
I just thought that aspect of it, you know, being you could travel back in time, but you couldn't physically. You could consciously travel back in time, but not physically, which is also something that's touched on in the Umbrella Academy. If you watch it, you'll understand.
Which I kind of enjoyed from that show, so I might enjoy Umbrella Academy at that point. But,
yes, because there is one character who can travel through time, and he can physically travel through time forward, but not
backward.
And the way they figured it out, and this isn't going to ruin anything, it might actually help you understand. So what happens is number 5.
Oh, he went missing. So
yes. So hold on. I'm not going to ruin anything. Okay. Settle down. This is such a small part of it. It's not going to ruin it.
I'm not saying it's going to ruin it. I'm just like, I fucking knew it. Something was about that.
So number 5, when he's a teenage boy at the age of 13, kind of gets, you know, pissed off at his dad and says, I could time travel, I could do it, I could prove you wrong, and decides to go on time travel. And he could do it very easily. Ends up traveling 50 years into the future. In the show, it's not that long. In the comic books, it is that long. He travels to the future in the show. He spends 50 years in the future because he can't get back. So he could travel forwards in time just fine. He can't travel back in time. That's his problem. Well, the way the show explains it, he comes back. But when he comes back, he's his 13-year-old self again, even though it's the present day and he should be in his 30s or 20s. 30s. Because they're all born in 89. So, but he's trapped in his 13-year-old body. So the way they explain it, in the show, when he decides to travel through time, he doesn't just jump to the future. He starts by jumping to the next day. Then he jumps a week ahead. Then he jumps a month. Then, you know, so on and so forth. He does this several times in the show until he gets to the future. That you will find out about.
Right.
So he found out the only way to travel back in time was to send his consciousness back to a time that he existed when everybody was that age before said event happens that he's trying to prevent. Okay? Right. So the only time that he existed in the present day was when he was traveling to the future as his 13-year-old self.
Right.
So basically he repossessed his body that existed from him traveling to the future in the first place.
That must be an awkward me. It's like, hi, me. I'm you. What the? What?
But the way...
Can I borrow my own body for like a couple minutes? Like, what? Why? Listen. It'll all go over smoothly. Just give me my body. What?
But the way they explain it in the show, they only spend like literally 30 seconds on it. And it took me a bit until they showed the whole him traveling forward in time and this to figure that out. I was like, so wait, why is he 13 again? It's because at that present time that he is now existing in the show, that is the age that he was because he was traveling through time. He can only send his consciousness back to a point in time where he physically existed. That's what I'm trying to say. And at that time that he physically existed in the present day, he was 13 because he was traveling forward through time at the age of 13. So it's like a fucking whole... It's a mind fuck, but it makes sense.
That's good to know, because the only other show I've been trying to get into is an anime called The Promised Neverland. Like, it's apparently like the psychological thriller horror type anime, which is hard for me to get into because when people say horror, I'm like, oh god, please tell me it's not Tokyo Ghoul levels of bullshit horror of Jason.
But I like Tokyo Ghoul.
But I mean, like, with stuff like, oh, Jason in the hockey mask is now here's a copyright infringement. Ooh, now we gotta have Kaneki be this scared little bitch over everything involving basically vampirism. Ooh, and I'm like, that's not really scary though. This is just gore. But I'm promised, like, it's supposed to be something super fucking twisted, so I'm gonna try and watch that, and then maybe save that for anime.
You mean like super twisted, like fucking Devilman Crybaby?
Oh, no, I don't mean like soul-crushingly twisted. I mean like just,
that makes you... Up. Like, that anime was so fucked up, Jenny couldn't even continue watching it with me. Because it was a mixture of, what is it, Rob Zombie's animated film. The fuck's it called?
I mean, the manga was a lot worse.
Was it really?
They actually molest the corpse before just chopping it up.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's not I mean, when I watched the original Devilman, that was not what that was about.
No, the OVAs just had it was like they just bust in, you see blood on the screen, and then you just hear them just chanting like, ah.
No, this one shows rape and other shit, and
but
I actually haven't gotten back to watching it.
The manga made it a lot worse, and then they keep making that same character suffer in a manga anime series called Violence Jack of her head on the body of a dog that gets crushed to death.
Oh. Did you ever see the show Misfits? It was on Netflix for a while. It's a UK show.
I tried. I honestly tried, but I don't know. Me and
Jenny loved it. Me and Jenny loved, like, the first season was great. Particularly one character, the character portrayed by Robert Sheehan. He had a fro at the time. So basically, it's a group of teenagers that are in detention. They're in a detention center because they keep breaking the law and blah, blah, blah. They're not in prison. This is like pre-prison, like juvie.
Yeah, I remember juvie.
So they're forced to do like public service and this and that. They will all one day get struck by lightning and end up with superpowers. Right? It was a great premise. And then they fucked up the premise because after season 2, they started changing every character because every character started dying, which sucked. It was stupid. It was like The Walking Dead for superheroes, but the superheroes die. Anyways, they fell off. After season 2, it just fell off and kind of pissed me and Jenny off. We stopped watching it. Well, anyways, our favorite character from that show, Robert Sheehan, he had the ability not to die. Like, he could not physically die. You could kill him, he'd stay dead for a few hours and then come back to life. That was his ability. He also plays a character in The Umbrella Academy. He is the Johnny Depp character.
Klaus?
Yes. And it is perfect for him. He does an excellent job, and I just wanted to throw that in there.
Dude, Klaus is such a party animal.
Yes. And he's been to Vietnam, so he knows, he's seen shit, V.
Right?
Besides the dead people he can talk to already.
I see dead people, and you know what they tell me? I don't know, Klaus, what? Drink, bitch!
And I like the fact fact that he can only use his powers when he's sober.
But he's never sober.
He gets there.
But yeah, that's the only thing on my plate of Travelers. I've been trying to get into The Promised Neverland, and then I'm gonna get into Umbrella Academy because I've been finally catching up on Gotham. I'm almost caught up entirely on the whole series.
I got to go back to that too. I have to. I've been watching season 5 so far.
My only gripe though is that everything seems like it's a little too set up to have Gordon take the cowl from Bruce because of how it is. Like, they have the Executioner basically be one of the personas of Two-Face, which throws me off a lot because I'm like...
So what season are you on right now?
I've been on... I've already caught up on 5, and I've done all I could watch for 4 right now because I've already known how that goes with... Raish Al Ghul, as fans are just like, it's not Raz, it's Raish. And I'm like,
no, it's fucking Raz.
Fucking matter.
It was Raz in the animated series. It was Raz in the comic book. You go back to the Batman in the animated series and you tell me what fucking Batman calls him.
They don't even... He doesn't even care how people say what his name is. So I'm like, I don't give a shit. But anyway, yeah. Raish, Raz Al Ghul has now made all of Gotham this way. Jeremiah is set up to be the Joker, apparently, with Echo being Harley Quinn because of a bullet in her head that she jiggles around.
That's my biggest gripe is the Harley Quinn thing.
Like, I'm not hating how the show is doing. It's trying to take its time with everything, like what Smallville did with 10 seasons, and I appreciate that. But it seems like all the Rogues Gallery will not take Bruce seriously because Jim's been like this big force. That's what's kind of like been irking me the more they're just inching towards it.
And season 5 is the final season, so I'm hoping for some climactic conclusion that...
Like, I'm at least hoping for at least Penguin and everyone else to be like, fuck Jim, this guy over here that's been beating up everyone to get into our information, he's more of a threat than this police officer. Excuse me, I'm a commissioner? Who gives a shit, Jim?
I think they underplayed Gordon's role in the animated series and in subsequent series in the comic books. Batman and Gordon's...
That's not everyone's fault though, because the Silver
No, I'm
Age
not saying...
No, I'm not arguing with you, Aaron. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate because the Silver Age just had him as this regular commissioner.
Right.
They didn't have this big backstory. Now the people want story.
But they did build it up in the comic books in the 90s. The Gordon-Batman relationship, as is evidenced by the Barbara Gordon becoming Batwoman, and the relationship that she had to have with her father, who is Jim Gordon, and they built that relationship up and explained it more in the comic books, and now you're kind of seeing a fruition of what Jim Gordon really was, how he got to the commissionership. He didn't start out as the commissioner.
Of course not. He has to start from the bottom, and I'm not hating on that. It's just how they've made Jim this unstoppable force in Gotham where everyone is just fearing him. It's just like, I get it where you guys want Jim to be the big bad that strikes fear into the Gotham underworld, but that's not his position. I think that's Bruce's.
Because season 5's not done yet, right? So there's still more episodes to come, and what it feels like, because I agree, they've made Jim pretty bulletproof. He's pretty fucking badass, especially when like the Penguin gets his leg fixed and Jim Gordon shoots him back in the fucking knee.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, Jim, can we stop and at least let Bruce have some fun?
But it feels more like things are coming to a head. Like the opening episode of Gotham shows Jim Gordon and the Rogues Gallery are all combined in one force standing atop this wall shooting at an unknown force outside the wall. And you're like, wait a second, what? That's how the first episode opens on season 5. So I think what they're building towards is more of, yes, Jim Gordon's is commando badass, but he can't kill everybody. and he can't take on everybody. What we need is a symbol. And I think that's what they're leading towards, is the symbol. Because everybody already knows who Jim Gordon is. He can't be the symbol. They need a symbol of fear. They need a symbol of, if you do bad shit in the night, the boogeyman's going to get you. And they've started kind of to show that with Bruce going in these dark situations, and he fucks with their heads. Oh, I saw a silhouette over there. Run across. And then, boom, guy's knocked out. And the guy across from him was watching, is like, oh shit, what just happened? Oh my god, I'm freaking out. They're starting to build that whole portion of where Bruce is finally figuring out his flaws when it comes to combat. But also
after the whole, oh god, I killed Ra's al Ghul, I'm gonna be a playboy. Like,
well, okay, the first time, yes. The second time technically wasn't him.
Yeah, but
technically it was Barbara Keene.
Yeah, but that was just so fucking dumb. I'm like, okay,
I
we
know.
get that Bruce needs to be billionaire playboy by day and then Batman by night, but this just seems so fucking forced to make him a douche.
But don't you think it's kind of reminiscent of the Christopher Nolan films as well?
Yes, and that also brings up some problems because Christopher Nolan likes to do grounded, which means not having the same super-powered villains that we've had in Gotham as an exploit.
Like Bane.
And that makes everything sort of a weird dichotomy where you want the Nolan, but you also want the Bruce Timm, and that's...
Well, I'm saying they blatantly robbed Nolan. Because if you look at the current season, they blew up the bridges. And not specifically anyone else, but the Joker blew up the bridges to Gotham Island, which is exactly what was supposed to take place on the ferries, these with the inmates.
Yeah.
And I believe he disabled the bridges into Gotham in the Dark... Was it the Dark Knight?
The Dark Knight, because that poor man. Heath Ledger was supposed to be back in The Dark Knight Rises, but...
Yes. But then they did Bane. And Bane, like you said, wasn't super powered. Like in the comic books, he's the Hulk.
And that's still, like, I understand trying to take all the same necessary tools to get all the references, all the hearsay there say. But when you're trying to combine what Bruce Timm did with the animated series with the groundedness of Christopher Nolan, that just, it's not a good fit because you can't fit fantasy and realism with Batman that well.
Well, I think what the show is trying to do is kind of take everything that everybody loved about the Tim Burton films, the Christopher Nolan films, and the animated series and kind of mush it together, which, great idea, because you want some characters that didn't exist in those films because they only existed in the animated series, like Harley Quinn. Because you want that relationship between Harley Quinn and the Joker. It gives the Joker a better character, right? It makes the whole thing better.
But the execution, though, is where I have issues. And this is where if Sally were here, she'd be biting our heads off.
I know. I agree. I totally agree with you, though. And I can definitely see it. Because Gotham so far has tried to stay grounded like the Nolan films. Now they're getting into the portion they introduced Solomon Grundy. That is not grounded in any way, shape, or form.
Neither was Mr. Freeze or Firefly or the plants eating people by Poison Ivy.
Well, okay, the Poison Ivy thing I think they did pretty well in the series. She basically took a bunch of Chinese herbal medicines and turned into a fucking...
Yeah, that's totally grounded, right, Nolan?
Anyways. But the Mr. Freeze and Firefly, they didn't spend a lot of time on them.
No, they're just like, oh, this poor girl's getting abused by her pyromaniac siblings.
Yeah.
Let's put her in Indian Hill with Hugo Strange.
And every single version of Victor Freeze that I have ever come across, he's only a villain because of the situation he's in. He doesn't want to hurt people.
He's technically more an anti-hero in the Rogues Gallery because he's just like, I want a cure for my wife. Give me crystals.
The only reasons he's doing the things he's doing is to save his wife. It has nothing to do with getting rich. It has nothing to do with curing himself. It's all about his wife. It's an obsession for him. And that's every backstory I've ever seen for Victor Freeze, whether it's the animated series Or even Batman, was it Batman and Robin?
Yeah, it was Batman and Robin. But there's also that one creepy one that they've made where it's like Victor Fries was married... I'm sorry, Victor Fries was married to someone that was like 3 times his age.
Either way.
That was just weird.
The Victor Fries in Gotham is null and void. I don't like him. They can get rid of that.
He's a non-character in a rogues gallery that's supposed to be all character.
Yeah.
That's sad.
That's one of the rogues gallery's characters that his story matters because he's not a villain. He does not want to kill people. In his mind he's doing it out of necessity. And in every other instance they build that character except for the show.
But then you have like them spending time with the Mad Hatter of all fucking people.
And which is one of my favorite characters from fucking Batman.
But it's like Mr. Freeze, Mad Hatter.
Yeah, there's more character in Mr. Freeze than Mad Hatter. However, I will say this, what they did with the Mad Hatter in the show is what they should have done with Mr. Freeze. They did all story with the Mad Hatter, and none with Mr. Freeze.
Including alluding that he raped his sister.
I didn't catch that part. I did catch the illusion that he was obsessed with his sister.
No,
yes.
She said that he did things that a brother shouldn't do.
Well, that doesn't mean rape. Jeez.
The way she didn't want to get touched by him to be
I thought she was talking about where he was abusing her.
Oh, no. He was in love with Alice.
Not sexually, but like physically abusing her.
Oh, no. He loved Alice too much to hurt her.
No, but he did hurt her.
He only hurt her when she disobeyed a rule. Everything else, he only did for love. He took a page out of Joe's book.
Okay, anyways.
All in all, though, Gotham, for what it is, and I know when Sally hears this in the future, she's just going to be like, you motherfuckers were talking about Gotham without me?
Oh, shit. Well, shit, Sally!
All I'm going to be saying is I enjoy what they've done because I love Smallville. That's the only Superman I like because he's not a pompous douche. That's like, I'm going to stand up for everything that's just. He's like, yo, I just really want to date Lana Lang. Can anyone help me get laid? It's like, yo, Clark, I got you. Why does my hand hurt?
And then the last fucking episode of the season, or the series, he fucking finally meets Lois Lane. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, but Gotham is not Smallville. It's similar, but Gotham is much darker. I love Smallville, by the way. Which is where Arrow was born, and it's still the same actor.
Where Arrow was born, where
yes.
The Flash was born, where Supergirl was born, where Merlin by BBC was born. And
that is where the Arrowverse came to fruition from. So everybody knows the Arrowverse and the Flashverse. It's basically the DC TV cinematic universe.
They just try to pretend that Smallville doesn't exist. I'm like, how can you act like this doesn't exist?
They don't. They just retconned it, as you like to call it. Because if you remember from the first season of The Flash, they actually brought in a character from Smallville who knew a character from Arrow, and I can't remember.
Damn it, Barry! You fucked up the timeline!
And then after Barry fixed it all, Supergirl was introduced, Superman was introduced, but it's not the same.
Welling.
However, if you watch Lucifer, Tom Welling does play a character on Lucifer.
I miss that Superman so much. Why can't Tom Welling come back as Superman? I can't.
Because he'd be fat Superman V, and I don't think you'd be happy.
I'm never happy with Superman.
He'd be fat Superman. He'd be Superman who married Lois Lane, had kids, and drinks beer every night to relax. He still looks good. Don't get me wrong.
He's just a little doughy.
He's a little doughy.
He's like all of us married men. We get happy and comfortable.
Oh, believe me, I shaved today. You notice I don't have the beard anymore.
Oh, I shaved too.
And I looked at myself in the mirror and said, wow, I have fat cheeks.
I already know I have fat cheeks.
Okay, that's another show. Lucifer. Have you ever seen Lucifer?
I tried, but every time I sit down to watch, I'm just like, do I really feel like watching another show about demons right now? Because I already got Blue Exorcist on my wait list.
A little different. So I had my reservations about watching it because I'm not a religious man, but I'm agnostic, right? I don't believe in the organized religions that rule over everything because they're so fucked up right now. But I do believe in the basic story, right? Like
you would be spiritual because agnostic
yes.
is like they question if there's a belief.
I don't question the belief. I question the
religious households.
No. The motive. That's it. The motive behind the belief. Okay. So I had my reservations going into it because I'm like, Lucifer's Lucifer, right? He's the devil. He's the patron saint of lies and deception and lust and desire and blah blah blah.
Yeah, he's one of the three princes of hell. That doesn't mean much.
But then I start watching the show out of recommendation, and they kind of explain it. And think about that. He's a prince of lies, desire, deception. Well, okay. He was an angel. He was an angel in the Bible. You look it up. He was an angel that disagreed with his father, like many teenagers do, and fell to earth. The fallen one. And the way the show explains it and picks it up actually makes it so much better for the character of Lucifer. So, like, the way they describe the positions. Heaven and hell existed before Lucifer ran it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, basically what happened was, Lucifer gets in a fight with his dad. His dad's like, nope. Yeah, you're in charge of hell. That's your baby now.
It's like, alright, fine. Fuck you, Dad. I'm gonna go to this place and then make my own thing with blackjack and hookers.
And then he goes to hell and he runs hell and he realizes, wow, this is fucking torture. And doesn't like it. This is the show now, not biblical. Okay. Decides, I'm really tired of making people suffer. I want to live my own life. Basically what he's saying is the angels want free will, but angels are angels. They're not humans, and only humans have free will. And he didn't agree with that, so he wanted to try out free will for a while.
So he has a therapist who wants to have sex with him.
Oh, not wants to, does. Multiple times. Yes.
Good look on you, Mrs. Therapist.
And she's married at the time too. Oh. But you don't find that out later until like the fourth season or third season.
Oh,
anyways, damn. It's a good show. It's fucking hilarious. The way they do the character building and explain certain situations and stories in the Bible actually start to make sense because you're looking at it from a different perspective. You're not looking at the devil as he's the ruler of hell and he's always been there. You're looking at it as hell always existed and Lucifer was just sent there to tend it. He was an angel who disagreed with his father, got in an argument. God didn't cast him out of heaven. He chose to fall from heaven. And when that happened, God said, fine, now you're in charge of hell. That's your job. As an angel, you are in charge of hell, which is the worst job that you could ever possibly ask for if you are reigning above, right? And they also include other angels that you actually have to look up on the Wikipedia because they use their old names, not their current names.
Oh, you mean like the Destroyer where his only job is, okay, you sleep until we destroy everything. So wait, I just sleep for like ever? No, not like, forever, just like until we need to destroy everything.
No, like Amenadiel. Yes, archangels. We're into archangels now, V.
All those douchebags.
You have the Archangel Gabriel, you have the Archangel Michael, you have the Archangel... Yes, Amenadiel is another name.
Even Uriel?
Uriel is in the show, yes. Oh, he's portrayed by one of the usual suspects. Oh, it's a good show. You should look into watching it. You should try. You should try, V.
Oh, I am. I'm just like this is just gonna be me coming out. I have nothing against anyone's beliefs. You guys can believe in anything you want to. I have nothing against people practicing a religion, but the fact is, me as a medium, I talk to everything, which includes the archangels, and they're douchebags. They're just so high and mighty because they feel like even though mediums technically have lived almost as long, if not longer than them, then they know more. And I'm just like, dude, I don't fucking care how many times you blow this fucking horn to call up the armies.
But don't you think it's kind of ironic that even in the films, whether it's TV, movies, whatever, any cinema, the angels are almost always, and I say almost because there are certain genres or certain niches of film, take like the kid from the Growing Pains show.
Oh yeah, him.
Where there are certain niches where they try to stick it like strictly biblical, and it's still not strictly biblical because the Bible's been rewritten so many times. But in almost every version, whether it's comic, movies, TV, whatever, the angels are always they're always arrogant, narcissistic, and never understand why humans get the love from God that they get.
Oh, that's just the archangels. The regular ones are just like, oh, you're just so cute. How old are you? Older than you old dustbag?
Here's the thing, though, that the archangels or the angels doesn't matter. In the portrayals, they're always, it doesn't matter if they're archangels or angels, they're always portrayed the same.
Oh yeah, in media they're totally listed as the same, while the devils, they're just like, hey, or
right.
I'm so misunderstood.
But isn't it kind of ironic that they're jealous of us in the film, cinematic and comic universes? They're jealous of us because we have free will and can't understand why God loves us so much. But at the same time, God loves them the same amount. They just can't see past their own noses to figure that out.
That's the same thing with any sort of family. They're just like, how come they get to have all the cookies, Dad?
Well, it's because you stole from Robbie, and you can't steal from Robbie because stealing is wrong, so you don't get any fucking cookies this time. Simple as that. Take responsibility for your actions, fool.
That's basically how it is in the movie. It's like, Dad, I know you gave us wings, but we want free will because free will seems nice, and we want to have free will just like you. I gave you free will for a week, and what did you do? You went out and you murdered a puppy. You can't fucking do that, dude. You can't go murder puppies. Dad, you and everyone on Earth have free will. Why can't you do that?
And what did I just tell you? I gave you free will for a week. You murdered a puppy, raped a goat, and there's a sheep with a baby that looks like a human. Why is that? Why is that, Ezekiel? Why is that? This is why I had to take it away. All right? It's for your own good. You can't handle it. All right? I created you for another purpose, not this one. These guys I created for a specific purpose. I created you for a specific purpose. You don't mix. All right? Do you know what happens when angels and humans mix? You know what happens?
We get giants. You want more giants, No,
you get fucking demons. Damn it! The wings don't grow right. They look like fucking bat wings. They don't have feathers, and the genitalia is all messed up and in the wrong areas. You can't. It's just, look. Okay, I got a system in place. This is how I designed it to work, and you're fucking with the system, boy.
We just made God the most angry dad in the world. Just like, I just wanted to sit down in my recliner and watch TV.
We just did Genesis.
He's just like, I just wanted to sit down and watch the history of the world. They think it's because of nature.
Oh! See, you want to know what the explanation for the Big Bang in Lucifer is?
Oh my God!
It's quite literal. It's quite literal, B.
Let me guess. A giant rip of ass.
No. God had a wife.
Oh!
How do you think the angels were born, V? Somebody had to give birth to them.
Oh.
The Big Bang is quite literally the Big Bang. Yes. Yep.
As I'm pulling a clone high right now. You know, this is the best way to close out the month of love, because if I'm being honest with you guys, if I could just have like a couple minutes of being honest, this is a terrible month to say this is the month of love for many different reasons. For one, this is the shortest month, but also the most conflicting month for a lot of people, because yes, you have a lot of beautiful people born in the month of February. It's wonderful. It's great. Okay. And a lot of wonderful moments can happen, but same time, it's like, okay, what do we do now? We give black people something to feel proud of. Let's just say they get a month to celebrate themselves, but not anything long. Let's just give them a short month. Along the same lines, you also have this month being, of course, when St. Valentine was murdered, because marriage is supposed to be illegal unless occupied by the Greek or Roman pantheon, because no one's allowed to be fucking happy, or if they want to be miserable, it has to be ordained by Zeus, Jupiter, or Hera / Juno, whatever the fuck they want to call themselves that day. All the while, so many people are trying to just clamor around being like, this is the most beautiful month to just say, I love you. There's no one else I'd rather be with than you. And I have to stop and think to myself, why does it have to be 1 month that you have to do this stupid shit? Why does it have to be this basic ass fucking month that everyone wants to just use as this excuse to buy expensive gaudy ass jewelry, tasteless ass candy that they say is super gourmet, or try to go to the fanciest fucking restaurants to be like, I love you this one day. Which, in summary, is just, this is the stupidest, pathetic month people can give an excuse for to celebrate everything for. And I can't wait till it's done, because this is the last big podcast of February.
What? Oh shit.
This month even made me waste one of my N-word cards. This is how much
shit.
I fucking hated this month.
I've never heard you say that. Never heard you say that. So I still haven't. I don't want to hear it. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter to me.
I only have 2 left on the card now. That's all I got left for the season.
Let me say this. I do not say that word. I've always known better because of my parents, but I was quite conflicted growing up as a teenage boy in the 90s and early aughts, listening to Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube and Ice-T and, all the fucking OGs and legends.
Yeah.
So conflicted. Because, you're in your car, and I'm a white boy from the suburbs, right? Like, I didn't have a hard childhood growing up. I had a great childhood, and there was, I'm not going to claim to be one of these people from the, the shit place. That didn't happen until after I moved out, and I experienced real life. I was so conflicted listening to all of this, because I'd be in my car, rapping along with fucking Dr. Dre or Eminem, and then it gets to that part, and I'm in my car, so it's okay, because nobody else is there.
Right?
Unless you come to the point where you're like, you pull up to the stop sign as a white boy in this kind of crappy part of town, and you're at a stoplight, and you're bumping, and all of a sudden, you see, like, a real motherfucker walking across the crosswalk. And you're like, turn that shit down and just stare straight ahead. Don't even mouth it, man, because if he sees you mouth it, you're fucking dead. You're dead, man, and ain't shit you can do about it, because you fucked up. It's on you. And then you feel like such a bitch because you can't even own up to the fact that you love the music, but it's the lyric in the music that makes it bad, but it's not bad it was so fucking confusing, B.
I've heard people say it's confusing, but for me, I've already said for people, as long as it's not the hard R, I don't care. Because with the A, it's like, okay, you get like that whole thing of, since people have been trying to turn it into a positive ever since slavery's ended and try to have segregation get abolished. It's kind of like that whole weird black people trying to take that term and then make it into something good. So I'm like, if it's just the A, I don't have an issue. But if it's the hard R, then you'd have to move across solar systems.
I as a white person, just of some intellect, who is not ignorant, don't even bother. I don't even fucking go near it. Don't even. Just
like
fucking leave it alone.
It's weird to go about to other black people and be like, is it okay to say this word?
Well, that's why I stopped, because I had some black friends growing up, and I was just like, I'm not even gonna, because they would say it to me, and so my way around that, without being ridiculous or offensive, was ninja. What's up, my ninja? You know, which again, still really close, and if you fuck it up once, you're gonna get the stink eye, right? Like, what did you just fucking say? So even in that instance, when you try to even make the workaround, if you're in the wrong area, or if you're in the wrong, if it's not like you and your friends,
it's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie.
So I threw it all out the window. It's like, no, I'm not even gonna try. What's up, dude? You know, yeah, I'll be the cliche white guy. It's whatever. I don't care, as long as I don't have to get the stink eye anymore, because I don't want to piss people off because of a word.
Yeah,
you know? It's just not worth it.
It be like that sometimes.
And it's a specific word. It's not any word. You know, you can still get away with saying, "Oh God, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it." You can still get away with saying the word fag, because it has different meanings in different areas of the world.
Look, Aaron, I don't have a cigarette on me, okay?
Exactly. In Europe, that's what a cigarette is. Now, you use the hard T, it's a different story.
That's a bushel of sticks originally. They just made it into...
Do you know what that bushel of sticks was used for?
Burnt...
Yes, exactly. So that's why that's offensive. So a fag could be a cigarette, depending on the type, where you are in the world. The hard T, well, that actually has some historical connotations to it that you can't erase. They used to use the bundle of sticks to burn gay people at the stake, much like they used to do with witches. And that is what the bundle of sticks was called. So yes, I agreed with you when I was a teenager, but then after having gay friends and hearing the history behind it and knowing what it means originally, yes. I don't use that word anymore.
Yeah.
It's we're not perfect. We're all human. We screw up every once in a while, and you can only hold yourself accountable. You can't. It's when you continually denigrate yourself. It's when the issues arise.
Yeah. But man, we've gone on like a whole... This is what we've been missing.
Yes!
Just literally once in a blue moon going off the rails, just shooting everything off with 100% juice.
Well, shit, I think the only topics we haven't covered are Trump, transgender, LGBTQ...
A+.
And I'm going to stay away from those topics.
Well... The Trump thing I don't want to talk about because everyone is like, do a Trump joke. Like, no.
Trump is the joke. We don't need to do the joke.
Like, everyone's already done the jokes of he's orange, so he's an Oompa Loompa.
And you know what? I don't even have to. I'm not even hating on Trump supporters or anything like that.
I got nothing against Trump supporters.
No,
they knew what they were trying to vote for, and I don't even fucking care. The only thing I fucking care about right now is don't drag me into this situation. My father-in-law is a Trump supporter. I don't care what he believes in because I don't give a damn about him.
My sister is.
I just don't want to get involved with politics because everyone wants to do that whole area of, because this one president did this fucked up thing, it's that fucked up legacy that's the whole thing. I'm like, can you stop?
I'll put it this way, B. There are entire news networks dedicated to this shit. We don't need to do it.
Yeah.
And some of them are biased, and some of them are neutral. I can't tell you who to listen to, but I'm going to tell you, if it sounds one-sided, probably shouldn't listen to them.
Fox News.
Or NBC. Fucking stick with the network that is just going to give it to you straight. They're going to give you the facts. There are many networks out there that do that and are willing to do that, and they're totally dedicated to journalistic integrity. However, apparently free speech covers lies as well.
Yeah.
Which I thought you could sue as slander or defamation, but apparently that happens a lot less than I expected it to.
Yeah, because people forget how that law works. As for
libel,
the whole...
libel is another one.
Yeah. As for the LGBTQAP plus community, we were not going to touch that because although I come kind of close to having bisexual tendencies from my youth, I'm more hetero than I'll ever be bisexual. And since Jenny, we all know Jenny has a lot on her plate and she can't always be here. She has to be like here for special appearances. We can't have her just be here as the bisexual token person, because that feels wrong for me, because I don't want anyone in the family to feel like they're a token, because I love everybody.
Right, and I think there's a lot more going on when it comes to opinions in that specific category than there are facts at the moment. So until some more time passes or more research, that sounds cold, studies, until there's more done.
Yeah.
I think opinions should be left out of it, and more logic and compassion. You know what I mean?
Definitely. As for everything with the religion, it's just like we don't fucking care.
Well, I'll talk about religion all day, because I got fucking stories for days. You ever seen Stigmata? Perfect fucking movie. You should go watch it. Awesome movie.
I tried watching Stigmata, but then my computer decided to be like, nope. Like, I just got to the halfway mark. Nope.
So, I'll be honest with you. I was raised Lutheran, which is Catholic light.
Oh, I was raised Roman Catholic, Baptist, and just regular Catholic.
So, Lutheran is like the progressive branch of Christianity. They're more willing to bend, you know.
Oh,
but
you're gay, come in the church. But yeah. Aren't you Christian? We're Lutheran.
We're Lutheran. We accept everybody, even if you're getting into hell. You can be forgiven. No, so I was raised, I went to church most Sundays. I went through confirmation, got confirmed. I was an acolyte. I did the whole spiel from the age of like 13 to the age of 18 or 17. I can't remember. I did the whole thing. I am ordained, right? Not as a minister, but as a religious believer. I'm ordained as a Lutheran. And it wasn't until I watched Stigmata that I started to begin to actually pay attention. Because it's a lot like school. You're fed a whole lot of information that you don't necessarily understand at a very young age. And you just fed this information, handful after handful after handful, and you just kind of take it, and you're like, okay, yeah, cool, this is the way it is. I'll memorize the Apostles' Creed. I'll memorize all of this. You know, I can do this and this and this, and then I pass. Awesome, got a good grade. And that's what it feels like. And at the same time, it's also brainwashing you. Now, I know that's a heavy term, but it's kind of what it is. Brainwashing you into believing something that may not necessarily be true. So, when I was growing up, pot was evil. The drug that grows naturally on our planet without anybody's help, and you can smoke it, and it helps you, is evil. Even though God put it here to begin with. I didn't even question that logic. I didn't even fucking think about it until high school. After I watched Stigmata. This movie will make you question things about religion and belief that you didn't previously think. And this was at the time that I knew the most about my religion, because I had just gotten confirmed. So I knew more about my religion at that time than I know a little bit more now, but time has passed. So at that time, I was fresh. I read the Bible. I had done all these things. And then I watched Stigmata, and it kind of changed everything, because the woman in it isn't religious at all.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, she's a party girl. She doesn't even believe in God.
And then she gets hit with the
stigmata.
Yeah.
She starts getting hit. And there are stages to it. So stigmata is the signs of Jesus. The physical... the fuck? Why can't I think of the words now? The physical starts with an R.
Remedy... remedies is a cure.
Where they appear. Physically, they appear on you. But they come in stages. So, her first...
runes?
No.
Not runes.
Anyways. It starts out small. Speaking in tongues is one. That's one of the lighter. And then it moves to the next step, and it moves to the next step. And the final step is you get the marks of Jesus, whether it's on your wrists or in your palms. And it even goes into explaining why there's a difference there. Because if you go back in history, they didn't crucify people through their palms because the bones in the hands were too weak to hold the weight of the body. They crucified them through the wrists. It even explains that in the movie, as to why certain stigmata appear in the palm and why certain stigmata appear in the wrist. The bones in the wrist are stronger and able to hold the weight of the body while it droops.
Sad but true.
So Jesus was crucified through the wrist, not the palms.
No, I never questioned that. The only thing that made me become who I am... After I say this, though, although, Aaron, I know you're like, you could talk about this all day. Me, I'm just one of those people where it's like, I have my beliefs, but I'd rather just never talk about it outside my family. Like you, for instance, because you're my brother-in-law and I love you. But after
I'm just promoting a movie, V. I'm just promoting a movie.
Oh,
I
know, but
I haven't even said
this inspired me to just say this now, so I can never say this again. I have stopped believing in religion the moment that I started actually hearing directly from the ether. If you guys don't know what that is, the ether and the nether are literally not constructs from Minecraft for all you fucking idiots out there. They're literally the constant forces that are reality, the light and the darkness that make up what is paradise, limbo as the middle, and then the inferno. If you can gain...
Or purgatory. Purgatory is also limbo for those.
Yeah. When you end up with your whole being able to become one with the entire universe itself throughout different reflections, or in my own case of dying so many fucking times where I'm just trying to see when me and
You're John Constantine.
Pretty fucking much. Where right now I've already known what the afterlife is from where my own vision can attest to this, to see what it's all like. I know every single angel and demon. I even know who the real ruler of hell is. It's not that exciting. But the more I started diving into stuff when I was just trying to actually go throughout the ether and the nether to find out all the stories within it, I found out that I wanted to just be with the side of paradise because I want to be in a place that's not suffering. But I don't need religion to do so, so I've started becoming a spiritualist. I've had gurus teach me how to focus a lot of my chakras, do a lot more meditation techniques where I don't need positions to do so. I feel more free with who I am, so I don't need to be constricted to all the stuff where I already know all my past lives and my future lives. I've known who my soulmate will be and won't be and all this sort of stuff. It's made me feel happier than being just part of a religion where you have to do certain rules to get into this part of the afterlife, other than when you just need to do what you're put here to do, not judge others, and just make the world better in your own way, which is what Yahweh really wanted us to do, but we were just like, you heard him, man, we make these 10 commandments and then we follow all of them with no questions asked. Wait, what?
You have to remember that entire book is written by men. Wealthy men.
So, since I've stated this today, I am never mentioning this again.
No, you're absolutely right, V. Absolutely right. And I won't even argue, because I have come to the same conclusion. Maybe a different perspective, because even though I've had a couple of brushes with death, I haven't had the afterlife experience. I haven't gone that far. And by brushes with death, I mean, I wasn't technically dead, right? So I wasn't considered clinically dead, but I was close enough to the point where 1 inch this way or 1 inch that way, I'd be dead right now. In one case, I was dehydrated to the point where 10 more minutes outside, I would be dead. It just so happened to be a timing thing. So, yeah. And then the other was a car accident. That's where the whole 1 inch this way and 1 inch that way would have decided my life. So I haven't actually had the other side experience. I've only had a recurring dream that I have had since probably middle school. And it's a vivid, very vivid recurring dream that actually stopped about 10 or 12 years ago. I haven't had it since then. But now I am coming up to the point in my life that dream is supposed to come true. So the dream that I had was a recurring dream of my own death. And it never changed. It was always the same. The details were always the same. And when I say vivid, it was ultra vivid, ultra real. I could picture it in my head right now and still tell you everything that happens. I could tell you where I am. I could tell you what vehicle I am in. And I couldn't tell you who I'm with, but it's always a girl. She's always blonde. And she has her feet up on my dash of my truck. And I know exactly the location that it happens. I know exactly how it happens. And this recurred for, years and years and years, from the time I was a teenager till the time, like I said, probably maybe 10 or 12 years ago. I haven't had the dream since. But I know what age I was. I know the name of the street and the intersection that it happens at. That's the closest I have to the other side. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a warning. But see, the shitty part is, it's not even a warning, because it's something that could happen any day. It's not like, oh, you smoked so much you got cancer and died. You should have known that. Or, oh, you drank so much you got fucking cirrhosis of the liver and died. You should have known better. It's not like one of those warnings. This is like, okay, you're driving down Milton Avenue in a car with a blonde girl who is younger than you in a truck, which is new, because in the dream, this truck doesn't exist yet. It had shit in it that I didn't know about. And you cross the intersection where the post office and the subway and the Payless Shoes is, and a car comes, because you can see it coming, hits you in the side, and blackness. And you know what age it is because it's your birthday. You just turned 35, and this shit happens. I turned 35 in June. Now the only plus side is I don't have a brand new truck.
Plus, Payless Shoes is going out of business.
But it's still there. I didn't say it was an open business.
That's true. You just said Payless Shoes. I'm like...
Now here's the shitty part. My dad owns a brand new 2019 GMC Sierra pickup truck.
Oh shit!
And Kylette is
Is
blonde.
blonde.
I've had this dream for decades, and all of a sudden one day it stopped, and I haven't had it since. But it was enough to impact me to think about it every day since then. To remember all the details, to remember when it happens, where it happens, what vehicle I'm in, when it happens, who's with me. And like I said, in my dream, I can't identify who is with me. All I know is that she's younger than me and she's blonde, and she has her feet up on my dash. That is like a specific point. Her feet are on my dash. You know?
That
That
is
shit's
just-
scary.
Death is always scary. Well, she's only moody and likes to fuck with people a lot.
She only loves Deadpool.
Yeah.
Which, luckily, is one of my personas. Anyways, enough about that. I don't...
Man, we literally have gone around the bend and back again, because, man, we went from crazy to real in about 60 miles, then 100 miles an hour. And you know what? I kind of feel happy about this.
Yes, fuck yes, I like this podcast. I love this podcast. This is why I wanted to start the podcast in the first place. Just me and you sitting and bullshitting. And talking
it just
about shit
became
we
a
hated,
huge...
shit we loved, shit we'd like to see.
And then it just became a huge family thing where now it's like we can only get this like once in a blue moon.
That's gonna change. It's gonna change. Because I'm gonna be more present.
It's not that, Aaron. I'm just saying it's like we have to be organized now to have like topics for every week now. So it's like,
fuck that. We don't have to be organized. I mean, like the whole DC and Marvel sketch. I love that shit. You know, I was gonna
it
burst
just
in.
came in out of nowhere too. It's like,
you
how did
start-
we make this skit in the first place? Season 3.
After you started the intro, I was just gonna like burst in with DC, being like, "Hey, I wasn't done talking to you yet." But then I was like, "Wait, how far can we take it? Maybe we should save that for another episode."
We
How
definitely-
drunk can DC get? Let's get DC blackout drunk. We're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there, but we have to make sure it's something that's so monumentally good for DC, like
was
the whole
gonna go
Justice
in-
League versus the the Fatal 5 that's coming out soon.
I was gonna go into the whole like how the Aquaman trailer doesn't really make it look like $1 billion movie because it makes it look like the old gay Aquaman. Somehow Jason Momoa sexed it up so well that it's better than that.
It's like he's so gay as Aquaman
because
that he's straight.
They put him in the original Aquaman costume.
Like, how do you reverse that where it's like, we have the Aquaman that you guys thought was gay, but we put Jason Momoa where he went so gay he's straight again?
Because people like my wife will be like, just rent a Jason Momoa film and some wine and sit back and relax. And I'm like, that movie could be Aquaman.
I like how he just made one hand disappear when he said just relax. I'm like, oh,
Exactly.
I didn't know. That's
Out here. And I love how that same motion can be the same for men and women. It just disappears from camera, whether you're doing, you know, the table knocker or the the butterfly effect.
Oh my god.
Oh, I like that. The table knocker and the butterfly effect. There you go.
Those are new masturbation terms, ladies and gentlemen. But all things must come to a halt where, since the month of love is finally over,
Thank God, my taxes are coming in.
mine too.
Whew.
For March onward, we have a lot of stuff in store for you guys where we're going to be going back into the world of Lovecraft at some point, maybe for October. We're going to be trying to do more stuff with the horror movie stuff, primarily with how Hollywood did the reboot of Halloween again.
And they brought Jamie Lee Curtis back to do it with her.
Yeah, after she died in 4, to then say 4 doesn't exist, only 1.
But apparently, it's still better than the Rob Zombie one, from what I understand. which I thought the Rob Zombie one would be really good.
The first one was the second one was...
Well, the sequel's always where you run into trouble. Unless, of course, you're Marvel and you can somehow pull that shit out of your ass.
And the PS4's having a hard time.
Along with that, we got more Marvel topics, more DC stuff, more Marvel and DC skits, a lot more stuff with some music things running around, because I've been falling in love with this new artist named Isla, who's got this song from her EP called Juice. The music video is so sexually charged, I almost was like, I want to fuck something.
Speaking of which, there's a new episode of Big Mouth on Netflix. If you haven't...
Me and my wife actually saw My Furry Valentine.
Hilarious episode. Totally makes you question things about your couch cushions after you've had kids. And their bed pillows. Me and my wife fucking love that show because it encompasses everything that is hormones and puberty. And at the same time, we're like, how the fuck do they get away with this without being considered kiddie porn?
I don't know. All I know is I laughed my ass off, but I was also horrified of the guy just fucking a pillow and a cushion.
Right, like running between dates to fuck the pillow and the cushion. Like, he's a gym bro for the cushion, and he's a sweetheart romantic for the pillow, and he's running between it because it's a Valentine's Day episode, so it's about... Anyways, I personally don't think it should be considered kiddie porn because it has the mature label on it and tells you do not, don't watch this if you're under the age of a certain whatever.
Yeah.
It's like one of those shows, though, that you almost want to make your pubescent teen watch because it explains it so much better than you could.
It's like how to explain the birds and the bee. Watch Big Mouth.
Yes, exactly. Like, okay, I'm sorry, Christian. I could tell you how it all does and works and what you're feeling and all that shit, but you're not going to believe it because it's from me, so just go watch this. This will tell you everything you need to know.
Is he my puberty fairy? What the fuck you just call me? What?
Hormone monster. I'm a hormone monster.
I'm no fairy. Well, yeah, I fuck around with dudes sometimes. But no, I'm just a puberty monster.
That show, I fucking love that show, and I hope to God that nothing comes of it because it pushes the boundaries. I mean, if I remember correctly, season 2 had 2 young girls dancing naked with their mother in a spa.
Is that any worse than South Park?
I don't believe South Park shows prepubescent girls dancing with their mother naked. Or pubescent girls. I
mean, it's had, I don't know how many naked women, naked men's, like everything of breaking the fourth wall and boundaries, and even...
The words you said there are men and women's. The words we're speaking of in Big Mouth are...
basically Butters having a prostitute girlfriend at one point.
In Big Mouth, it's more like boys and girls. Which you can differentiate because it's a cartoon. It's not like fucking hentai or manga. This is not...
It's like when they say they're 16, it's like, you do not have the body of a 16-year-old. I need to see some ID.
They don't... How do I say it? It's comical. It's not sexualized. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because with anime, it's like you see this very voluptuous person on TV and you're just like, I need to see some ID.
Yep. And in Big Mouth, it's much more like, okay, this is what real life is. We're going to slap you in the face with a giant dick.
Yeah, or have parents that are so open with their sex life. I'm just like, if this guy and this lady were any more like some people I know, this would be scary.
Jewish parents that are basically willing to fuck in front of their son. Oh, I love this show. Anyways.
But yeah, we have a shit ton of stuff for you guys because season 3 is not over yet. We're not even at the halfway mark. We're at like the 1/3 mark. We still got another 2/3 to go over.
Or 4/5 if you're looking at it from my perspective.
Yeah, and we might get Jenny in like one or two episodes at some point. We don't know. She a busy lady with her crocheting and streaming.
We're 10/16ths, if you're still thinking about it like I am.
And of course, her boob corn merchandise is still on the rise.
That's something you haven't done yet, Jenny. You need to bake a boob corn bra out of crochet.
I'm busy.
She's playing Final Fantasy 15 again.
I need to get back to playing that. But from all this sort of things from the podcast, we still have no ending for you guys. But all I gotta do is just sit down with my brother-in-law and...
Here's your ending. I'm going to put lipstick on.
Why are you putting lipstick on?
I'm Deadpool.
But why lipstick, though?
I was just sitting here.
Wait, what shade of lipstick is that?
I don't know. It's, rose colored?
Damn, I'm good.
Kind of looks a little bit...
Got money on my mind every day. Please don't play with mine, put it in the bag. Usually I can leave it in the past. You won't make me have to show my ass. Ooh, I can love you till the sun comes up. Let me know your body down. You don't even really gotta ask. I'ma love you better than the rest. Ooh, say so.